self-propelled artillery. Just look at the size of that gun barrel. This thing's a monster. Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I'm in Nashville today, and this is a weapon of war. Track-mounted, self-propelled artillery. It's quite the piece of equipment. Just the sheer size of the thing. Kind of interesting to note that it has rubber tracks. I don't know if that was a peacetime adaptation so it could be driven on the road, or if that was something that was just commonly done. These are called road wheels, and they actually support the vehicle. Looks like they have a torsion spring suspension. This huge scoop on the back is there so that when the gun is in place, well, when the piece of artillery is in place, they drop that plow and back up, and it engages the ground and stops the vehicle from rolling backwards. Now when you look at the size of this thing and how much it weighs and how much ground engagement it has, without the scoop you'd think it would sit still. But they don't usually put things like that on a vehicle unless you really need to. Now this is armored, and it has some shielding around it, but it's really not designed to go against anything else. That armor plate is really pretty thin. It would hold up against small arms fire, but if a tank went after it, it'd pretty much be toast. High explosive shell would just knock that shroud right off the top of it. The turret lets it turn. Looks to be about 15 to 20 degrees left or right. There's a stop there, and this piece of angle runs up against that stop and prevents the housing from turning any further. Now the housing itself is made out of 1/2-inch steel plate. Door shut. And they welded that shut so that you can't drop the hook. They basically rendered this combat ineffective. But then, I don't know that you'd be able to fire this thing up and drive it anywhere without a great deal of work anyways. It's set around long enough that I think it's probably frozen up in a lot of places. But I'm just totally impressed with the size of that gun. Got a clamp on it so it can be in road position. And somebody drives this thing. I don't see any ports for anybody to stick their head up. Oh, there's a couple of hatches there. Maybe that's where they are, but I think that's where the engine is. Because the drive wheels are in the front. Maybe I can look this thing up when I get home. Looks like the only access hatches big enough for a person to get into are on the sides of the turret itself. Quite the thing. Quite the thing. There are a lot of these military vehicles at VFW halls around the country. I've seen probably 20 of them just in my local area. Every VFW hall usually has at least a small something or other. Quite often they're tanks. I like visiting them. This is the first one that I've actually stopped and taken a picture of or made a video about. If you like it, leave a note in the comments. Or if you have a suggestion for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.